Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today webinar with me. Well, my name is Derek, and I'm the Inside System Engineer supporting Southeast Asia region. Right. So today topic we're gonna talk about cover your SaaS, right? Unveiling Veeam Unified Platform, and we will have a live demo session as well to provide some insight about the Veeam SaaS platform. And secondly, we always like to keep this session interactive as possible, right? So you will you will see the Q&A function, right? So any question you guys might have, please post those in the chat, and my colleague CK will try his best to answer them for you. So moving to the next slide, we have got our agenda, and today we're gonna talk about what is Veeam Data Cloud and how we reimagining it, essentially a single workload product to multiple workload platform. And yes, that includes some of the newest workload that we have introduced right around the Veeam on. That's the Veeam Data Cloud for Entra ID, as well as the Veeam Data Cloud for Salesforce. And lastly, we will run through a demo and give you guys an insight how it looks like in action. Now, when we start to put this into the cloud world, right? So we got this notion of shared responsibility you see on the screen right now. And shared responsibility isn't something that is exclusive to just one provider. Each, each of single provider out there, whether it's AWS, Azure, Google, or even Salesforce, right, have this shared responsibility model, and it's all about clearly defining what the responsibility that are assuming as you transition workloads to their platform, and what responsibility is retained by you. So on the bottom, you see the on-premise, right? So this little V marks mean that it is your responsibility. So in an on-premise private data center, you are responsible for absolute everything, right? So, but as we transition to various degree of services, infrastructure as a services, platform as services, and software as services, we are transitioning various degree of responsibility to the cloud provider. So you can see more and more as we go up the stack is being transitioned, right? So, but what is always retained by you as a customer is the responsibility of the data and the responsibility for the identity and access management. And of course, we are talking about Entra ID, Salesforce, and Microsoft 365 today. All of these, we are responsible for protecting the data. And even on that Entra ID piece, specifically that the access management, right? That is always your responsibility. So therefore, you are responsible to protect and secure that data. And I think everyone joining this call know that by now, right? But if you don't, you have a gap, and you need to fill the gap as quickly as possible, as it is a gap in your resilience strategy. So moving on the next slide, that's really the premises we use uh, evolve Veeam Data Cloud to this unified cloud platform on today. Well, it is the unified cloud for data resilience. And the whole idea, well, yes, we gonna keep your business running. This has been our tagline for quite some time now, whether you are looking at any offering from our portfolio, right? VDC is the all-inclusive SaaS platform that is built on the industry-leading technology. It is all about removing that operational toys on managing data protection, the infrastructure that is sit on patching, update, maintenance, and many tasks, right? And putting that on us as the provider, while still being able to leverage the very best data resilience technology out there, and then further layering that on with portal embedded security and AI acceleration. Again, that responsible use of AI to help us to do more to, with less, right? Well, so Veeam Data Cloud, our unified cloud for data resilience, and we started in the middle here. This the green box. It is the unified multi workloads UI and UX, right? So this is all about consolidating all of those individual points product into one single place to go for, or to go for all your data resilience needs. And that is applicable to workloads you see below on today. There are actually 5 workloads within our Veeam Data Cloud portfolio. I think the most obvious one used for everyone is the Microsoft 365, right? We have Microsoft 365 coverage for super long time, and almost 2 years in terms of deliver that as a services, right? Which is now known as Veeam Data Cloud for Microsoft 365. Well, but we also introduce multi new workloads, right? The most recent one is the Entra ID. I would say that one is critical. It is our identity and access management layer for your organizations. So if there are any bad actors out there wanted to have a widespread attack on your organization, this probably the first place they gonna go for. Well, I believe it is 600 million attacks on Entra ID on each and every single day, if I remember correctly. So Entra ID is equivalent important to protect, and Entra ID and Microsoft really go hand in hand. If you are a Microsoft 365 user, you are automatically an Entra ID user. So if you are protecting Microsoft 365 data, but you are not protecting Entra ID, well, there is a gap in your strategy, and you need to be able to protect that. Well, and we also have the SharePoint, right? So I think 91% of organization that have more than 10 employee or more than some are using some sort of CRM, right? So and Salesforce is the industry leader when it comes to CRM. Essentially, there are a lot of valuable data and metadata hosted within Salesforce, right? Well, if losing access to that, whether it is some sort of outage or some sort of security event or even just an accidental deletion, right? So or corruption of data is ultimately slow business down and revenue generating opportunity impact as well. So Salesforce is a SaaS platform. It's built on AWS, just like the shared responsibility model, right? Protecting that data and metadata is super critical. Well, we also protect Azure IaaS, infrastructure as a services, and platform as a services instance. So these are like your Azure VMs, Azure SQL databases, Azure file share that is also built within the Veeam Data Cloud. And finally, the Vault. So it is essentially a storage as a services. So it is all about hosted and object storage in the cloud with fully managed, pre-secure by Veeam team or for your Veeam data and dedicated for your Veeam data platform. And what's make up data resilience, right? Yes, it's about the backup and recovery, and it is also about data security, right? So we talk about embedded security within the platform. We discussed the notion of data intelligence and the data portability and the ability to prevent vendor lock-in. So Veeam Data Cloud for Entra ID. Okay, so again, over 600 million attacks are hitting Entra ID on a daily basis. As a result, having a good backup and recovery solution in place is super critical, especially in today's modern state that we are in. So we do this in three ways: through proactive protection, effortless recovery, and everything being included, which we kind of go into more as we go into the next couple of slides. So in the proactive protection, we protect those sign-in audits and provision logs, and we help you to maintain that compliance and also enhance this security at the same time. Well, we are able to bolster the forensic investigation with a point in time copy of your IAM data. So you always being able to protect those logs, but you also bolster any sort of um, forensics investigation you might need it. Also, you are being able to pre-configure and schedule backup that fit your need or requirement, right, to ensure data is consistently protected. Well, next we're going into the effortless recovery. Being a SaaS offering, you are able to store all your Microsoft Entra ID data in the cloud region of your choice, right? With built-in redundancy. You also can quickly identify any inconsistency by comparing your Entra ID tenant with your backup data for quick restoration. And Veeam is the only vendor that provide this capability at the moment, right? So you are also able to restore individual attributes, groups, or entire user entities for precise and efficient recovery. Well, and everything is included. You don't have to worry about separately storage management costs. It is all built in for you, so you can quickly log in with a web browser and seamlessly create your first backup job with the convenience of an as a services offering. More importantly, it is a secure backup services managed for you. All those day two operation tasks, maintaining updates, and security fix being fully offloaded to the VDC Veeam Data Cloud expert. And here, this is a comprehensive list of what we are protecting now for Entra ID. And at Veeam, we always constantly moving uh, innovating, right? So this list will just going to continue to grow. Now let's dive into the Veeam Data Cloud for Salesforce specifically. Well, data is crucial and it is priceless, right, to your organization, and Salesforce data is no different with this. And we're going to talk about how we help you to eliminate downtime or mitigate risk and unlock the value. Right, let's dive deeper into each of these pillar. Eliminate downtime, right? So we maintain productivity with automated high frequency backup and precise fast recovery of data and dependency. So the first one, right, frequent scheduling. It minimize data loss with automated backup, fully customizable to your schedule with no additional cost, right? So granular compare and restore. Only Veeam is the offering this feature at the moment. You can easily search, compare, and all those record with your production and your backup, copy and restore record metadata quickly while keeping the hierarchies intact, right? So multiple organization management. So we protect data, metadata, and file across multiple organization, right? Form a single unified solution. Well, mitigate risk, right? So first of all, access control, right? We eliminate vulnerabilities from over privileged user and external threat through the robust access control, multi-factor authentication through the Microsoft ID and SSO, right? Encryption. We also extended Salesforce Shield platform encryption to secure sensitive data and rest from the bad actor. Data masking, right? So we always ensure data security and privacy by masking the sensitive information when you when in a sitting sandbox use case. While unlock the value, right? So data archiver. So it meet the compliant requirement while freeing up your Salesforce storage, that including a data archiver features. There's no additional cost. It's automatic come with the product when you have subscribed with our license, right? With no additional cost. Then are archivers, right? So unlimited storage. So we also maximize the spend for innovation with predictable low pricing that include a unlimited storage, safe sandbox seeding. So we leverage your production fresh data in sandbox for if you want to do some testing, development, and training, and more scenario, right? Right. Let's move on to the demo, right? So before that, let me just switch my screen. Well, essentially, yeah, it's a web browser or it's a software as a services. All you need to do is navigate to our URL, and then you can log in with your Microsoft ID recommended, again with MFA enabled, or you can also continue with a Veeam ID. So I'm gonna, because this is an internal lab, so I'm gonna continue with a Veeam ID. Okay, back to login. Right, so this is the dashboard, right, for the Veeam Data Cloud overview. So you see there is a Entra ID over here, and then you also can manage your Salesforce in this single UI, right? Or just FYI, right? So our roadmap, you might see more services added to this single UI panel. For example, 365, Microsoft 365, the Veeam Data Cloud World, Veeam Data Cloud for Microsoft Azure, right? So you see more things added to the UI, right? So first of all, let's look at the Entra ID. So if I'm gonna manage my Entra ID backup, I'm just gonna click on manage. Well, you see all the subscription from here. Let's look at the SE demo subscription. So in case, right, if I want to manage this subscription, I'm gonna click on the manage button. Well, there you go. You see a dashboard, you see your production status, and by the way, the production status, I'm going to show you later on a storyline, because that onboarding process I couldn't show you, right? So I need a, right. So this is the production is automatically turned on, and you also can see the object protected, right? So as we discussed earlier on, so these are the object that we are protecting, right? Your roles, your user, your group, application, conditional access policy, your administrative unit, right? So, and there is also a number of counts that of each of these object we are protecting. So quickly scroll down a bit, then you see all the recent restore session from here. So who are the user who perform the restore, and what are the activity? You know, are you restoring audit log? Are you restoring a user attribute? What is the status of the restore, and what is the start time and end time of each of these restore? Okay, so quickly, uh, I'm gonna switch pretty quick switch to this portion, right? So the story lane, right? This story lane actually show you the step when you first subscribe with our VDC for Entra ID, how it looks right? How simple is it to onboarding or add your Entra ID tenant? So yeah, as soon as you sign in, you see an add Entra ID tenant. So you can click on this by adding the Microsoft Entra ID tenant you wanted to protect. So yep, authorize. You gonna access with the authorize by clicking on the authorize. You supply with a Microsoft credential that prompting you to review and grant the necessary permission. Okay, so you will need an Entra ID Global Admin account for this step, by the way. Yeah. Okay, setting. You select the region where you want to store your backup data. As mentioned earlier on, right? You got the choice of your region, then you want to pick to store your backup. Well, give it a tenant name, give it a name, basically, and basically you just need to select the region, right, that you want to store your backup. And then of course define the desired retention period for your backup, right? So, and then the next thing is the backup frequency, right? So, and well, again, we will show you the data type that will be protected, right? Again, is actively showing here. Well, after that, this is just a summary, right? Before you confirm everything, you review all the detail are okay, then just click on the finish button. Then, well, there you go, right? So we are connected to the tenant now, the Entra ID tenant now. So one of the key feature, remember, compare and restore. So if you already have a backup, you click on the object, right? So I got a brick glass object over here, right? So in case I want to do some attribute restore, or I want to find out, right? So what are the difference between my backup version and also the current production data? So I click on the compare and restore. Well, there you go. You can pick any restore point, right? You have in your backup, and then to do the comparison, and then bear in mind there's a show change only, right? So I just want to see the changes. That's been the differences, right? If you turn this off, you will see a bunch of all those attributes will be listed over here. But of course, I only want to see the differences, the changes that over this field, right? So as you can see, uh, in the restore point version, I have a display name, given name, a surname in this attribute, right? Brick glass, green, admin, and with the production, right, is somehow someone have changed this value to inactive. Just put a K and surname and B. So essentially that's how quickly, right, you can identify all those changes. And then and the beautiful things is I just need to select all these changes and I can just restore all these attributes. Okay, so well, once I identify all those attributes that are making changes, and then well, I can start the restore. I can put a restore option, right, as an optional, but in this case maybe accidental change. Okay, when you hit on the finish button, the restore will started. So that's the how powerful is the compare with production, right? And with Veeam is the only vendor, right, to offer this feature at the moment, right? Right, so moving back to the lab environment, right? So again, if I click on the object, you see, right, this is all the object we protected: user, group, administrative unit, all those roles, all your applications, right? Your condition access policy as well. Okay, so you just need to, in case you want to restore anything, you just need to pick on the user, right? So for example, if I want to restore Entra, right? So I can compare and restore. I can straight away restore the entire user. So the option is there, and compare and restore I show you before, right? So this is how it looks like, right? So I'm just gonna cancel it. So yeah, this is the Entra ID logs. We do backup, right? And your all these log, all your sign in log in case there is a forensic investigation need to carry on, right? So yes, you can export the logs from here. right? For investigation. Okay, so yeah, that's activity. Again, this track all those activity, right? The backup, your restore session. Again, this is another place that you can see all the history, restore session, and the backup session settings, right? So in general, this is you can review your tenant setting over here, right? What is your retention setting when you on board, right? What retention you set? What is the backup frequency you actually define? Right, so going back to dashboard, that's how simple, right? The Veeam backup for Entra ID, right? That's all about it, right? So quite simple, very simple. Just hit the backup, we backup everything, and then you we can do all kind of restore you want. So going back to the dashboard, well, let's switch to the Salesforce, right? So I have one pay subscription. I have 8 tenants, right, for Salesforce. Let's click on the manage. Okay, so I have multiple Salesforce tenant over here, and I have the permission, right? So that's the beauty, right? You can grant permission to different role that can manage different tenant. So I have the permission to manage this demo. So I hit on the manage. Well, first thing you see your the type of your tenant, right? Is production, and then yeah, Salesforce user I have two, and then you see your organization, you see how it's connected. Well, data backup, right? So I seen the 100% over here success rate. I have 878 successfully backup, right? So, and this is the data backup, and I also can have my file backup, right? So again, 6 successfully backup for my file, and also very importantly the metadata backup, right? 100% successfully. Okay, you can hit the view session detail to view more of each of the backup session. There is also a daily data change rate as well for 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 your information, right? So, and also the most modified top 5 object in your environment, right? There's a notification in case there is any notification or warning, it will be showing here as well. Okay, so let's quickly look at the browse. Okay, so that's the you can always browse your data, right? For example, actually, let's look at the policy first, right? So because, well, I have a backup policy over here, backup policy 5. Yes. Well, you can actually start the policy. I want to manually kick in the backup right away, right now. Yeah, just hit on the start now. Alternatively, let's edit. You can edit, right? Let's assume I wanted to edit. I want to make some changes to the backup policy. You can edit it anytime you want, right? So, Salesforce connection, I can see is connected successfully to the organization. While permission is important, right? It's always important. It always will show you the what kind of permission is required, and then even to that you can hit on the verified permission, right, to check whether you have the required permission. So Salesforce API, you can also limit the Salesforce API to certain percentage, right? Okay, so move on to the backup. Okay, so backup schedule, the first of all, the backup schedule, you can run the schedule the backup to run very granularly, right? So it can be hourly, every 2 hours, daily, weekly, right? You can you can manage the schedule over here, and then you can add a new schedule anytime you want. Maybe, for example, I'm just gonna do some demo, right? So I want to run it, maybe every day at this time, maybe 12 a.m. Because those time, right, maybe not a lot of people doing sales, not using the Salesforce, and you can put a time zone as well, right? Put a time zone. Maybe your tenant is located in different country region. Okay, so, well, that's how you can create the scheduling. Very granular, very flexible. Can as you can do a very frequent backup of your Salesforce. Okay, So I'm not going to create anything. And then, okay, the next thing, custom schedule. Okay, you can see custom schedule. I have 6 objects excluded. Well, backup option, that's all about it, right? So backup file and attachment. Well, you can see I selected all the backup files, right? So I email capture all this attachment. I would like to back it up. So of course, it's based on each of the customer requirement. You can only select those whatever files and attachment that you want us to protect. Okay, so exclude field from the backup. Yes, you can do. There's a lot of field, right? So if you don't exclude, right, if you don't exclude any things, we will protect all this kind of field. Okay, so probably maybe there are certain couple of field like you don't think you need to back it up. Okay, you can do some exclusion. For example, I am excluding the billing city. Okay, for this account dot billing city. Okay, so well, do we automatic add a new object? Do you want us to automatically added the new object and also the new field on the object to the backup? Yes, if you want to do so, you just need to check the 2 box. Then any new field new or on the new object, that yes, we will protect it. So encryption, well, you can configure encryption for the selected object field or file separately, right? So yeah, encryption job will apply change 1 hour after the policy is updated. To take note, well, you can select the file to encrypt, right? So you can select, you by the way, you can select the field that you want to encrypt, right? And then you can also select the file, right, you want to encrypt. In my case, in this example, all are selected. And also, if you want to bring your own AWS key management KMS as an encryption building encryption key, yes, you are able to do so as well. Well, retention, let's specify how long history version you want to retain your backup, right? Some customer they have a default compliant need to maintain the backup for 7 years, right? So, and of course, well, you can put how long you want to keep the record for, and then you can also customize the object. And yep, specified retention policy for file contention and content version. So you can you can put a flag there, so purge the contents older than 1 years, or purge content version older than 1 years. Just need to check the box. So end of the day, we give you a summary again. You're gonna review all the summary, the schedule, is that what object you've been paid and excluded, your retention. If everything okay, you hit the finish, the policy will be created. Again, this is not my Salesforce lab, so I'm not going to make any changes. Right, there's this still force, and of course there's an archival policy as well. You can create a archival policy to help you to free up some production uh, util capacity from your Salesforce, right? Some customer they have a lot of Salesforce data, and well, they might want to archive, right? Archive it to Veeam backup for Veeam Data Cloud for Salesforce, right? So we will help you to archive to free up some capacity usage from the Salesforce, right? So that yeah, it's all included. There's no additional charges on these archival features, right? Looking at the restore, well, there is so many restore job. Well, maybe I'm just click on. I can create a new restore, but probably I can edit this draft, for example. Okay, I can give you a name. I want to do a restore. I pick a organizations, right? So the data. So probably okay, maybe I'm just pick one of these. This is a granular restore. This I can pick this account. There's multiple object I can select, but in this case, I'm just gonna select the account, search in the latest version, right? You can also do some customization, right? So okay, for example, maybe I just want to restore this. Okay, this particular accounts Restore attachment. If there's a attachment, do you want it to restore? Hierarchy, so it's very important. We don't want to mess up with your hierarchy, right? So restore record hierarchy, if you want to turn it on. All right, so there are a bit of customization. Do you want us to override in case the same data still exists, or the same record still existing in the Salesforce, right? So okay, so override field, you can do some mapping as well. Okay, so verification, do you want us to do a verification to see is there any permission missing, do while we putting in this data back to your production? Again, summary, when you hit on the finish, well, the restore will kick in. Just gonna exit it. Well, again, activity, you can see, again, you can see all the activity of your backup session, your archival session, right? Your restore session, or and also your audit over here. What, what kind of query, what kind of action, right, has been performed by the user, right? Setting, well, you can view your setting over here, your Salesforce connection, uh, your notification configuration, your data masking, and in case you are using some the AWS key managements, right? So it will be showing here. Well, that's the product, right? So that's Veeam Data Cloud for Salesforce. So yeah, and that's end my demo for now. Let me go back to the PowerPoint deck. Okay, so that's my last deck for today, and let me check with the chat box. So there is no question at the moment, so feel free to ask any question if you have. uh, if there's no question, and well, we shall end the call, end the session on today. And again, thanks everyone for joining today session, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.